When the wind's not blowing, it doesn't happen at all. Oh, and there you go, popped it open. Wow. Hello everyone, this is Jeremy and Mark.
Hello.
From the Yukon Boys, and today we're going on an ice fishing trip. Dad is going to stay overnight, Mark's going to come out for the day and help me set up, and then Mom's going to come out and pick you up, huh? Yeah, should be pretty fun. So we'll see you at the lake in a few moments.
I had no idea that you were staying for the night.
You didn't?
No, I have no idea.
Are you scared about that?
Dun, dun, dun.
I have a wood stove. It'll be fine. Let's go. All right, we got to Chadburn Lake, kind of in Whitehorse city limits. And yet, as you can see, Whitehorse is the wilderness city, and the wilderness is right at our doorstep. In there, that's where they do the polar dips here. So you can be a part of a club and come out here and swim in the lake all winter. It's pretty crazy. I'm not into it, but some people are. And around here, this is our gear. And so the thing about ice camping is you need most of this gear, whether you're staying for one night or multiple nights. Obviously you get more food, maybe more fuel if you were gonna bring a generator. We've got one in the back of the truck, but we're not gonna bring it tonight because I'll have enough battery power. But this is it. You'd need all this stuff, whether you're staying one night or multiple nights, but I'm only staying one and he's just staying the day. We'll show you in a minute here what all this looks like when we're packed up to start the hike over that way, around the bend. Ready to go, Mark?
Oh yeah.
Let's do this. Mark's using the pulk sled here that I made, I don't know, 15 years ago. Give us a turn, Mark. Come on up here. Oh! Going uphill is a little bit harder, isn't it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, buddy. Wow. So as you can see, if you are a Gen Xer, you probably notice a backpack like that. I cut the back off, then I put just a Walmart sled on the bottom, kind of riveted it in, bolted it in. And this is actually, you know, the classic Gen X Europe backpacking trip, going all over, got patches from all over the place, and canoe tripping and stuff like that. Anyway, that was my journey when I was a lot younger. Now it's a pulk sled, and so I got some bars there. You can see got some hooks there, and if you have an old backpack laying around, like you know, one of the big expedition, the big traveling packs, cut the back out and strap it in there and make yourself a pulk. And this guy is gonna pull some gear today, which I'm surprised. He's doing great. As you can see, I got the big stuff. I got fishing gear, food, the wood stove there, the flooring, the ice auger. Once we get there, I'll tell you a little bit about that wood stove made out of a propane tank. All the propane is removed, of course. It's an amazing stove for the hot tent. And, oh, looks like Mark died already. We didn't even make it off the launch. Oh, sorry. He's just taking a break. All right, let's get rolling. So now we're gonna get the rest of the pegs in, and Mark's actually, I'm gonna hand it over to him. He's gonna video for us. Here you go. Now I guess I'll get these back ones. This little thing, I think you can get an Eskimo, Freybill, a bunch of different companies have these. You can try to crank these in by hand, but it's terrible. It's awful. So these just fit onto a regular drill, and as you'll see here pretty quick, they make quick work of that. couple more. Most Eskimo pop-up tents come with this little bag, and there's some extra canvas for patches. Then you get a whole whack of these pegs because it can get pretty windy. All right, one more to go. Marky's going to drill in a peg. He's going to try it out. It's a little tough for little hands, but we're going to see what we can do. We have these guide wires. It gets crazy windy here, especially on lakes. And so I want to be prepped. I put the tent lengthways so the smallest surface area is facing the wind, but I still want to put a guide wire because what can happen is wind can hit this, pop in your tent. So that's why Eskimo gives you these, which is really great. And so we'll probably, it's kind of coming from this direction. I'll probably put one here and one on the other side. We're gonna see if Mark can drill it in here. All right, let's have a look. So it's a little tough to get started. You see how it goes in there?
It's tough with gloves.
Yeah, it might be tough with gloves. Okay, let's see. Wow, you're doing it like a champ. Yeah, push down a little harder. Here, hold on. No, you had it in.
I think it's in a reverse.
No, it wasn't. Want me to get it started for you?
Sure.
Here, you hold the camera. I'll get it started and then I'll let you do the rest. All right, I got it started. All right, show me what you got. Oh yeah.
The ice.
That's okay, just push down. Gotta hold the top. Keep going, it's fine. Woo! Too torqued? Yeah, I think we're good. So as you can see here, folks, sometimes the ice at the top will dinner plate, but this ice is probably, oh, I don't know, maybe it's a foot thick now. We'll find out in a bit. But Mark got worried here because it was cracking a bit, but that happens a lot of times at the start of it. It's all good, it's in there.
Now do we like hook this on?
That's right.
Ugh.
Well, you loosen it up here. Okay, there's a little cinch. And then we just whoop. And now pull this, and then that'll tighten it up.
Up?
Yep. Here, let's see. Oh yeah, it's tight. We're good. It's good. All right, so I put a mat here. I kind of want to see the distance. I kind of want to walk on that side, hang some stuff up. And I'm gonna drill 3 holes here. 2 for rods and 1 for my sonar and camera. Here we go. Woo! That water came quicker than I thought. Let's get another one there. There we go. Now we need to get the scoop and the shovel.
Oh yeah.
Now Mark's doing some scooping. I probably could have done a better job by emptying those holes, but he actually likes the scooping. So get all the ice out of there, and then we'll get the camera and the sonar and some rods set up. Got a few rods there ready to go. I'm gonna get the shovel. There's not much snow here. Mark's chipping it away to put it on the outside of the skirt there, all the way around. It'll insulate it a bit, as well as just keep the wind from getting under it. Let's have a look at our stove setup. So here it is, a guy from our church, Mr. Bob. He took an old propane tank and he made me this. It was an amazing gift. A little bit of metal in there, keeps things from melting. It works really great. And let's go have a look at the outside. As you can see, lots of room. And the wind will be coming from there, so all that smoke's gonna off down that way. It'll be great. You may notice, aren't those exhaust pipes? Yes, they are. Right there. Turn down exhaust pipe. So they work great. They fit together really well, and they work great for this stove. And you can buy pieces pretty easy and just pop them together. They slide in and they work great. Shall we put the mats down? Are we almost ready? No. The work is not done yet, but it'll be fun once it's done. And as you can see, empty sleds. But we are almost ready for a cozy little camping adventure here. And we're gonna have some lunch and do some fishing. Right, Mark? What do you think? You ready to do some fishing? Oh, are you ready to eat lunch? Yeah. All right. Well, Mark's gonna head back with his mom. Chimney is puffing away and tent's warm.
Bye.
So much for the wind going the other way. The wind switched on me halfway through, but it seems to be puffing away over top, so that's good. It's gonna get down to about -11, -12 Celsius tonight. So got a huge wood pile, but then I have to cut it down to these lengths to kind of fit it inside of the hut to warm. And then need about 1 foot lengths once I'm in there. But I want to get them in manageable lengths so I'm not out here cutting wood in the middle of the night. It's probably what, 4:15-ish. I think sunset was 4:54 or something like that. So it's definitely getting dusky, but it's cloudy today. It's better when it's sunny, but it's warmer when it's cloudy because it kind of keeps all that warm air in. So it's a trade-off, but it's a pretty nice day. The wind's not blowing and we're nearing sunset, so that's good. Bit of cutting, bit of sawing, and then we'll get in the hut for the night. Well, I got a decent stack done. Plus I got some already in the hut. Have a couple logs here if I, for whatever reason, really get in an emergency before morning. But I think we're good for today, for tonight. Time to get in the hut and shut her down. Okay, well, it's starting to get dark now. Just a little bit of light left, but it's nice and toasty here in the tent. And I'll give you a little bit of it's pretty dark, but the bunk is set up and should be a great night. I think that's it for today. Other than if I get a fish, if one of those bells goes off, then I'll try to get the camera out and we'll have a look. Have a great night. See you in the morning. Well, as you can see, I am back at the truck. It is the next day, and I'm headed back out to the shack. We had used that wood stove lots before. No problems with it, but it had always been during the day, and so the doors are always open. But this was the first time where I used that wood stove overnight, and I'm not exactly fully sure what was going on. But as you'll see in this photo, once I zipped everything in, there was a haze, and so a backdraft somehow, I don't know, but it was pitch black and I was starting to get a headache, and I called Nicole, talked it through with her a bit, and then I decided, oh, I'll just stay, it'll be fine. And then she's like, well, why don't you get up and go outside for a bit, see what happens. As soon as I got up, I started feeling dizzy, and I realized, okay, we got some ventilation problems in this tent. So I had to call it a night, which I actually got a little choked up that I was calling it a night. I felt a bit like a failure, felt a bit emasculated. And, you know, when you spend a lot of time in the outdoors, you do start to get a little bit of a, well, I guess it's pride, which this situation was really good for me. It was humbling because I had to pack it up for the night and go home. And it is not what I wanted to do. It's not what I planned to do. And so there it is, pitch black, and I'm having to walk back. And now I'm here, coming back out. I left all my gear. A real hassle. Maybe you've been in that kind of situation where things aren't going right and you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to do everything you can, but there's getting to a point where it's probably dangerous. The wilderness can kill you in lots of obvious ways. Bear attacks, avalanche, getting lost in the woods. But then there's little things like poor ventilation in a tent with a wood stove or propane heaters. They're there to keep you warm, protect you from the cold. But if it's not ventilated right, you're gonna run into problems. So I had to call it quits. Sometimes you gotta pack it in. And it's not fun. It's not what you wanna do. You got to. You gotta let go of your pride and just realize that not only is your own life potentially in danger if I had to fall asleep in all those fumes and backdraft, but you have to realize, especially if you have a family, that's probably the greater risk is, you know, me falling asleep, not waking up. I have 3 boys, growing up without a dad, my wife losing her husband. Terrible situation just for a bit of fun in the outdoors. It's not worth it. So sometimes you have to eat a big old piece of humble pie, and even though it's killing you on the inside, you gotta call it quits sometimes. But now I'm back at my hut and it's still here. Here's my wood, and we'll get the fire going again and we'll see if we can figure this out, what was going on. And definitely I am going to be getting a carbon monoxide detector for this tent. And for those of you planning on doing a hot tent ice camping, there's loads of other YouTubers, loads of other videos that say, hey, get a carbon monoxide detector. I was foolish. I should have got it. And I didn't think I needed it, but you need it. So get one before you go out. Save you doing what I had to do and call it quits in the middle of the night. But I'm out here again. It's another beautiful day in the Yukon. Let's see what the inside looks like. I got the fire going again, but every once in a while when the wind picks up, there is some puffing of smoke coming through. And I think it's because of the stovepipe angle. As you can see, the stovepipe angle here, if you remember when I first set up yesterday, I thought that it would be best placed this way because the wind was coming from that direction, but it changed yesterday and it's been blowing all night, and I wonder if this is what's going on. When the wind really picks up, it's pushing some smoke back down. So I think I need a 90-degree pipe there, and it needs to shoot straight up because this directional pipe is not working the way I'd like it to. I guess if the wind was going the right way, it would be no problem. I had no idea that the wind would completely change direction. Again, I'm just continuing to learn, and I hope you guys are continuing to learn with me. The smokestack needs to go more directionally up and has to be higher, I think, so it doesn't backdraft. So learning. The more time you spend in the outdoors, the more you learn. I don't know if you can hear that. The wind, like I was saying, is blowing in that pipe, and that's that backdraft that I think was happening last night. When the wind's not blowing, it doesn't happen at all. Oh, and there you go, popped it open. Wow, that was crazy. So I had it tight, but I didn't have it latched, so maybe that was the problem. If you have any tips other than I just need a higher directional on the pipe, put them in the comments below or drop us a message. Well, it's about midday and still no fish, but over by the hut, it's really, really deep and there hasn't been any action. So we're setting up some tip-ups now. As you can see, there's kind of a point there and it's pretty shallow here. And so I'm gonna put one tip up there and then maybe one tip up halfway. Just around that corner is where we parked. And so my family will be here any minute probably, and they'll see some tip-ups leading to the hut. In the Yukon, when you're ice fishing, you're allowed 2 lines per person. Jude's snowboarding today, but Luke and Mark and Mom are going to be out here today. So that's 8 lines in the water. So bringing your family on adventures definitely increases the odds of catching a fish. And so we'll have tip-ups kind of at every depth and jig a bit, and we'll see what happens. Fishing isn't always about catching. I have caught some big fish and I've caught no fish. And if you fish consistently, then you know that to be true. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. And that's okay. It's part of the adventure. It's part of the experience. You got to take the good with the bad. And if you put in enough time, every once in a while, you tie into something that is just incredibly exciting and delicious, of course. And hopefully today we might catch a rainbow. That'd be nice. Or a lake, or maybe in here. Not sure, but we'll see what we can get. I guess we could also maybe tie into a pike, although we're not really targeting them, but who knows? We'll see what happens. I use this super handy, which sounds kind of cheap, and it is. This is the cheapest battery powered auger you can get on Amazon that has over a 4-star rating. Let me repeat that. This is the cheapest battery powered auger you can get on Amazon that has over a 4-star rating. It's worked pretty good for me. I'd like to get a second battery because when it's really, really cold, the battery doesn't have the oomph that it should, but it's worked great. I used a gas powered auger for a long time and I switched to this last year, the year before. And as you can see, it does the job really well. It's way quieter than a gas-powered auger. They can rip through ice really well. And I had it for a long time, but it's heavy. And I think if I had a second battery for this, man, I'd be ripping holes all day long, no problem. So it works. Let me know what kind of auger you have and why you like it, or what you would change to if you didn't. And if you have a super handy, cheap, kind of weird name, but if you have a super handy, let me know, because I like it. It's working really well for me. A little bit of a hack when you're using these battery powered augers. I pull the battery off whenever I'm done drilling a hole, and I put it in my hoodie pocket inside my down vest, really deep, close to my body, and that really will save your battery. Maybe it's minuscule, I don't know. I know these are meant for cold weather, but I just find you get a little bit more if you keep these things on you and warm. It's a little bit of a hack if you're going to be drilling lots of holes or moving spots. If you're bringing your family like I am and you're getting ready and you're putting a lot of holes in, it's gonna keep it going. One of the things that's important after you drill a hole, in case you've never been ice fishing, there's always some ice and slush and things that's still in the hole. You'll want to like scoop really fast, and all that often does is just pushes the ice back down. So if you want the most ice in one scoop, just go really slow and you'll see here. So see, I get a chunk, but if I just try to go quick, I don't get much. And then I'll be ready to drop my bait and set the tip up. As you can see, I have some cured salmon roe that I use, and it works pretty good. But when that's not working, just some frozen shrimp, Pacific white shrimp. And I'm using these polar tip-ups. They're pretty easy to use. Here you can see I have a weight. I have some waxed line, which works really good for ice fishing. An arrow weight there, nice and heavy to get my bait down and keep some good tension. Not too heavy, but decent enough. And then I have a little bead and a hook And I'm gonna put some shrimp on there. And when this starts spooling out, it's going to spin this, and then the flag's gonna go up. We got the bait down there, and so the spool is under the water. And once the fish starts pulling line, it's connected to this trigger here. And then the flag goes up. So that's what we're looking for. Some of you might have been wondering what kind of hut we're using. We're not using an insulated hut. It's the Eskimo Quick Fish 6. So it's basically your 6x6, the very standard ice hut that there's thousands of them out there. This is a side-by-side that Eskimo makes. It's literally just two 6x6s put together to make it a 12x6, and it fits a cot nice. If you only have 1 or 2 people, it's pretty good for an overnight. If you're not putting up the cot and you're just fishing with some family and stuff, then it's really great because you can probably drill 4 or 5 holes in there, have your sonar, your camera, and have 4 people fishing pretty comfortably in the middle or on the sides, however you want to do it. They do make, I believe, an insulated version, which would be really nice. And then obviously you've maybe seen the big octagon models that are insulated, and those are even better. One thing that Eskimo does that I think is really great, they put these reflector strips and they really light up. So if someone were to bomb down here in a snow machine, although I definitely strategically placed it in between the 2 sets of tracks, but if they were coming through, they would see those reflective strips, which I really like. They would see it in their headlights. I don't know if you've ever heard of that happening. I haven't, but I'm sure it does, where snowmobile, we call them snow machines up here, someone might be bombing down a lake at nighttime, and it would just be horrendous if you hit an ice hut. I've never heard of it happening, but I'm sure it could. Maybe if you've heard of it happening, you could drop a comment. But I do like these reflective strips on there. If you've ever gone out at night and you shine a headlamp on it, they reflect really well. So it's a small addition, but really good for safety at night when you have the tent up overnight. All right, so the Eskimo Quick Fish 6, there it is. I was just cutting up some more firewood, and I was just thinking about this saw. It's an inexpensive saw, but our family have used these. I just got a third one, actually. I keep them in different places in the truck and with camping gear. It's made by Woods. I don't know if you can see it there. Not a big outdoor name at all. Pretty low budget. And there's probably other models that are better out there, but for the price, we use these like crazy. It has a little trigger here and folds out like that, and it sews so nicely in our gear, and it's really lightweight, but it rips through wood really good, especially at firewood. If you're doing big stuff, obviously not, but for this kind of stuff where you're just trying to get it in little 1-foot chunks for a wood stove, or you need to go out in the bush and cut down some dead wood for a campfire, these things are amazing. If you live in Canada, Canadian Tire. If you live in the States, I don't know, maybe put a comment down below if there's something like this. I'm sure if you looked on Amazon, there's maybe a few companies making these, because I don't think they're trademarked, but they are light and they're super efficient and they're just so inexpensive. It's worth it. If you're going super lightweight and you're hiking in, maybe, you're probably better off using something else, but we love them. So I thought I'd just feature those. Well, it's confirmed. The wind is now blowing right into the pipe, and here we go. There's that backdraft. It's blowing the smoke down. It was a mistake not to have a 90 there and then a higher pipe on the top. I have an almost a 90 in there, but that is not good. So that's obviously what was happening at night. I could have killed myself, so I'm glad I called it quits. But now I've definitely figured out the problem. If you are setting up a stove in your ice hut, go higher. Don't make this mistake that I made. But I'm going to be getting a 90 and then a higher pipe up there. as soon as I can. All this being said, if I had the pipe on the other side like I intended with the wind blowing in that direction when I first got here, none of this would have happened. So in a way, this wasn't a good experience, but I found out something new. I guess I just never had the direction wrong before. So lesson learned. Well, the family's arriving. As you can see, there's Luke in the background there making his way. And I'm sure Mark and Mom will be here soon. Well, there's Mark and Mom. And we're watching a friend's dog. So we don't normally have a dog, but we have a dog today. And now that they're out here, we're gonna set up a few more tip-ups and we'll really be fishing. Mark and I are gonna make a fire. Mark's doing some chopping. Trying to do some chopping. Oh, he got it. Yay. Yay.
Finally.
Perfect.
5 minutes I've been chopping.
But you're building muscles and you're learning something. Good job. Think this is enough yet to get us started? We have some bigger logs already. All right. Stay tuned. Well, Mark's got his fire started. I'll turn this around and show you these little fire starters. So if you look in there, there's a little fire starter. It's an egg carton or a piece of an egg carton that you put wax and wood shavings and dryer lint and even like bits of old towel and stuff, and you put it all in there, pour the wax in. They're homemade fire starters, and we should probably do a Yukon Boys episode on how to make those, because anyone can make them at home. And as you can see, they work great. You just light the edge and it'll burn for a good minute, and it's really, really great. Mark knows how to make them, don't you, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do an episode about it.
This is like my first time lighting one by myself.
Oh, really?
This is like my first time.
Yeah, you lit it all by yourself.
It's kind of warm.
Yeah, it will be warm. And we'll get all that wood going, and then you'll be cooking your smoky in no time. And Mom's in the background there. She's jigging for a trout. And Luke, I think, is building a fire over there maybe too, or I don't know, he's working on something back there by the hut. But we still have no flags, still no fish. So I'm sure there is fish in this lake. A guy caught one around the bend there. So maybe we are just in the wrong spot, but we are in a beautiful spot. Look at that fire. You did that, buddy.
I can't believe it.
I can believe it. You did a great job. You laid a good foundation, had lots of twigs in there, had a well-made fire starter, and there it is. One little spark, one little bit of a lighter flick. We didn't use flint and steel, he used a lighter, but either way, it lit right up.
Still did it.
You still did it. You did a great job. Look at that. We'll get a photo. Well, we're all packed up. We got one big pulk there, one little one there, and Luke's putting out the fire right there. So thanks for watching this episode of the Yukon Boys. And as always, like, subscribe, and hit that
Bell.
Hit that bell. And we'll see you next time.